evening. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I got my green on, don't worry. Oh, that camera's really fucking high. There's no need for that. Alright, there we go, that's better. Well, hope everyone's doing well. It's pretty nice night out. Happy St. Patrick's Day. We got hopefully you'll be drinking with me here soon. I did not bring anything to drink here. I'll have it when I get home. But as you know, I always encourage fun drinking, responsible drinking, I should say. When you watch this, if you hear me say the word "so," that's your cue to drink. All right, let's get this up. So tonight, kind of a change in plans for my future goals and workouts. I'll tell you a little bit about this while we get moving. I was thinking about doing another kettlebell cert, as I said last time, and doing getting ready for a snatch test. But the reality is, I don't know if I want to spend another $1,000 on a certification. I pretty much already have. So instead of doing that, I'm probably going to do a certification on osteoporosis coming up very soon. But for me, what that means is that I need a new goal. So my goal for myself, something that I want to be able to do, is get that 40 kilogram kettlebell over my head with one arm. So tonight, we're going to start working towards that goal. And what that means for presses, we're going to be doing, tonight, we're going to go do a pyramid. So if you know anything about weight training, we do things called ladders. So for example, just use the numbers 1, 2, 3. And a ladder, set number 1, do 1 press on each side, set number 2, 2 presses, set number 3, 3 presses, then repeat. Pyramids go up and then down. So tonight, with the 24 kilogram kettlebell, I will be doing 3, 4, 5, 4, 3 pyramid. Just as a nice way to ease into this. So if you have a weight at home that you can do this with, we can start working on building that strength if you want to get stronger with me. Or if you just want to watch me sweat while you drink and take shots every time I say the word "so," you can do that too. The other thing, if there's a lot of things that I tend to say like "so," or things, another one I might say a little more often is sometimes, but if you catch any of those, just let me know, and we can add it to the drinking game and make it fun for everyone. So, see? So if you are drinking, what are you drinking? What's your drink of choice tonight? If you're not drinking, how good is your water? Or Coca-Cola? Or whatever it is you drink? Ooh, it is crunchy. Delirium, my man, delicious beer. I love that stuff. You know, it was really, as I said, when I sent you that video, oh, Plasha, what's going on, man? How you been? What is it, 5 in the morning there still? Or is it even, or is it 6? Oh no, 4, because you went back on, you guys haven't done daylight savings there, have you? Well, someone's yelling outside. Let's see what happens here. It's 5 a.m. Woo-wee! Good on you. That's a good one. Are you able to work out tonight, or are you going to work? All right. Here we go. So, we're going to start off with this pyramid. Like I said, I have a little chalk. Sometimes this is good for I'm going to work in 2 hours. All right, well, if you want to work out, I hope this works well for you. Sometimes the chalk, no, we're good, okay. Sometimes it helps with grip. Sometimes it's more of a mental thing. Now, I'm not doing this timed. This is me going at my own pace, resting and feeling well and ready for the next set. Now, some people do these, they time the breaks in between. Tonight, I'm just going on feeling and how I feel. If I feel ready, I'm gonna go. All right, here we go. So, set number 1, 3 presses. Now the one thing I found, I tend to try to do, I have to lock my knees out, because as you may notice, I may want to bounce a little bit. So I'm trying to make sure and avoid that completely. 2, 3. Oh, what's happening in my neighborhood? I don't know, it's LA, man. There's weird stuff happening here all the time, but here are people yelling out in this alley here. And it's only 7 o'clock at night, so everyone's still very much awake. Sirens going by, so hopefully people stay safe, you know, but you never know. It's a little crazy out there. But right now, I'm in here and I'm good, so, but it's, you know, it's oddly cold for us here. It is regular. I mean, yes and no. Unfortunately, in this area, we tend to have a rather large homeless population because it's very warm. But we also have an Airbnb above us. And sometimes it gets a little rowdy up there. But, you know, they keep to themselves. We're pretty safe here. I mean, I don't worry walking around this neighborhood. Can't speak for anybody else though. So, two months? Wow. Man, that's, you know, unfortunately, we got, it happens a little bit more around here. All right, here we go. For set number 2, we're just going up to 4 presses on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the reality is, I could probably start this with a 28 kilogram. However, because I haven't been doing a ton of overhead presses, I'm doing this to slowly build up to it. So this week is all going to be 24 kilogram. Next week when I do this, I will probably do the 28 kilogram. Now, I won't necessarily be doing it every night that I'm here. So, yeah, I'm glad everything's good. But you know, we'll see what happens with these pyramids. Going up, going down. Oh, my point though, I could probably do this with the 28, but I want to make sure that if I feel okay, I can do this again on Wednesday. I don't want to overexert myself tonight and not be able to do this on Wednesday. And this is also the second workout for the day. I had a really good workout with my friend Frank and the owner of Breakthrough Pilates, David, who's here. So we got a good reformer session in earlier. So it was kind of nice to kind of reconnect with my friend. I mean, Frank's the one who certified me in 2013. So it was, we get together and work out probably, well, whenever we can. I haven't seen him about too much because we've both been super busy, but we, you know, we try to get together, and when we do, it's always nice because it's like, oh yeah, we're really good at this. All right, here we go. Alright, so now I got to 5, and now I'm going to go back down to 4, then 3. Then probably take a good 2-3 minute break, then do it again. And then after that, probably some nice foam rolling, work out some of these knots, or make sure, and also to make sure that when I work out tomorrow, I'm not like, oh, I can't move my arm. But it was good because yesterday I did that reformer workout because yesterday my kids and I went to the Natural History Museum and we spent 4 hours at the museum because not only do they love that place, but they know it really well. So they want to make sure and like show me all these different things that they know about there. And it's one of the great things that they do at this museum is they have all these massive dioramas with these stuffed animals, try again, with these stuffed taxidermy animals, that's the word. And they do a really great job, but they have, you know, when you go in, like you see where the elephant is, right? They also have the elephant and a giraffe, but then they have all these little bugs and butterflies in the picture as well that you want to try to find and look for. And my kids found every single one at every display. I mean, there has to be at least 12 displays minimum in each room, and they're massive. So it was a lot of fun to watch them be as excited about that stuff as they were. But man, my legs were beat when I woke up this morning. And I don't know how the hell they didn't want to cut the lights off. All right, now we're going to 4. What is my heart rate at here? Whew, 135. Not bad. Doesn't feel like it should be that high, but we'll see what happens. Man. What else has been going on around here? Not too much in that sense. I mean, now the nice thing about living in the city is that we have beautiful, beautiful museums to go to every day. So, you know, it's you if you've never been to LA, you gotta understand there's so much wilderness here that you don't get in a lot of other places. And so there are different times where you're in the city, but you don't realize you're in the city. And so when, you know, we're by the Natural History Museum is right next to the California Science Center, which is right next to BMO Stadium, where Angel City Football Club plays. So we just have all this stuff going on in that one section yesterday while we were there. And then you got the little braided tar pits, your Griffith Park, or the massive LA Zoo. And that's just the main things that you know about, right? Not to mention the Getty Museum, LACMA, Pacific Design. Like, there's just so much out here. And so if you have the chance to go and see any of these museums, I mean, like the California Science Center is free. So if you live out here, you should go there because it's amazing. All right, here we go. All right, so now, oh, the Peterson Auto Museum, I mean, even if you're not a car person, that museum is absolutely amazing. You realize when you walk in the door, you're like, oh shit, this is art. And a lot of these designs are art. You forget how many cars they have specifically for movies. So you go in and you see, like, you know, the van from Scooby-Doo, the Mystery Machine. You go in and across the street is the Academy Museum. And so you go in and you see, like, you know, you can, if you're into movies, like, you can see like different gowns that people wore to different Academy Award ceremonies. Last time I was there, they had an entire room dedicated to Bruce Lee, and just like saw some of his pants and shoes and stuff from Enter the Dragon. I mean, it's just amazing, cool stuff that, on the one hand, yeah, for me at least, I'm like, I don't know if I want to go see that. But then you get there and you're like, oh, this is actually like, there's a lot of shit from my childhood in here. So we have a lot of fun out here, and it's really fun when we can take our kids around, and you know, when if you have kids and if they're into the show Dinosaur Train on PBS, Dr. Scott, the paleontologist, will often be talking at the end of each episode from the Natural History Museum here in LA. So when we walk in and kids recognize that, like, oh, this is where Dr. Scott was standing, like, you realize that, like, we get a lot of interesting and fun experiences like that out here. So, you know, I love this city. I don't think I'm gonna live anywhere else. No, I'll never say never. I mean, I never thought I'd leave this city either. And I did a 2-year stint in Chicago. But, you know, we all make choices. But that was a good choice too. That was a good, you know, there's a ton of shit to do in Chicago too. And a lot of that stuff is actually all indoors because it's so fucking cold the rest of the year there. But, you know, I like being in the sun. I like riding my bike outside year round. So, I don't know, I'm selfish. It's fine. And then we'll see where everything goes. All right. now I'm going to do set number 2. So we're going to start off with 3. And I think, well, I know for a fact, I'm going to start with my left arm this round and see if that makes any difference whatsoever. I love the sun in the summer. Yes. I will never complain about the heat. I'll complain about the cold. So I will take the heat any day. Especially now that the apartment we live in has air conditioning. That's a big plus too. You don't get that everywhere in Los Angeles, but we definitely got lucky with the spot that we live in. The first time we lived here, our old place was a studio apartment. There was no AC, and there was one summer where, I mean, even at night when the sun went down, it was still 100 degrees in our apartment. And I remember sleeping on the wood floor, trying to cool off as much as I could. They didn't necessarily help too much, but you know, I worked at a place that had air conditioning, so I spent a lot of extra time at work at that point. So, but yeah, I love the sun in the summer. I will always take that over being cold. So, but all right, here we go. Start with the left arm this time. 1, 2, 3. Now I have a feeling this round's gonna be a little bit harder. And that's part of why. 2, 3. I'm not doing it timed. Because I just want to see and go when I feel good, right? And that's kind of the nice thing about doing it this way, is that I got to kind of make up and decide what's good for me and when. You're the opposite? You like the cold, huh? That's fair. That's fair. I know a few people like that. I have quite a few clients that are not too happy here in the summertime. So, you know, they like it cold. I get that. I get that. I figure if I can like the hot, someone else can like the cold, you know? But I'm sure that a lot of that just has to do with, you know, living so many years in Florida and going to school, going to college in Florida, and being a springboard and platform diver. I'd much rather be at a pool, say, than inside somewhere because it's too cold to go outside and do anything. And I mean, there were a few days in the winter at school that I was not too happy to be diving outside. So I would, again, I'll take that. And that was in Florida, which is generally pretty warm. So, but being wet and cold is just terrible. All right, here we go. 4. No, I didn't mind as much when I was a kid. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But, you know, I lived in Ohio. Oh, and I lived in North Carolina too. I mean, that was, no, okay, here's the other thing. Winter in North Carolina, I live in the Appalachian Trail at the top of the mountain. So if it snowed, I was going sledding or skiing, doing a lot of fun outdoor activities in that sense. So that part I did enjoy. Boiling inside, no fun. Ooh. Well, so I have cousins who live in Kuwait, and this is when I realized how hot it gets in the Middle East where you guys are. When she came over to visit, we went to the mall, and she looked at me as we got out of the car. Now this is back in the early 2000s when all our cars still had CD players. We get to the mall, she looks at me, she's like, "You gonna grab your CDs?" I said, "No, no one's gonna break into this Dodge Neon to steal my CDs. Like, no, I think we're good." She goes, "Oh, well, if you're in Kuwait, they would just melt." So I was like, "Oh, yeah, no, I don't have to worry about that." So it never got that hot here. So I can only imagine at 45, 50 degrees Celsius. I mean, that's what, 110, 115, I think, Fahrenheit, around that. Yeesh. Whew. Yeah. All right. That's a little much. That's like Death Valley here in California. That's probably not a place I'd want to be in the middle of the summer. But it never really gets that hot here, so yeah, that's a lot. All right. Let's go for 5 here. Whew. That was rough on this one. Let's see. I think I'm right on that. This is not completely an accurate number, but 45 times 2.2. I think that's what it is, yeah. Whew. All right. Oh my goodness. Okay. So now we start going back down. Now we go back down, about 30 minutes into this. I think I'm gonna do a 3rd round. Add that on. Now volume-wise, you're looking at 19 reps per set. So if we do that times 3, it's 7 carried to 2. So that's 57 reps. 57 times 53 pounds would be right, what is that? 14, 19 times 3, 57, 57 times 53, it's 3,021 pounds volume-wise. So, that's why it's good to start on a lower number, because you get, starting on a lower number, you can build up and do more volume. So if I were to start off at a 28 kilogram kettlebell, as I said earlier, doing a 3rd round might be a bit much. It still might be a bit much now, but we're going to find out. All right, here's number 4, or down on 4. Oh. Caution, what is your favorite winter activity? As I spill a beverage all over my face. Josh, what are you guys doing in Montana? Ah, camping in the desert. I can only imagine how beautiful that sky looks with no lights, tons of stars. Well, that's fair. Slide your car around snow, that's, you know, as long as it doesn't get, like, you know, wrapped around a tree. I guess we're good there. Snow drifting. Woof. All right. I'm gonna go for a third round in 2 more minutes. We'll see what happens. You know, it could be a bit of a disaster. Man. Why are you frozen? Oh well. Let's see what happens if we do that. There we go. Now, how many, you guys have daylight savings in the Middle East in 3 weeks, right? In April? I know it throws time. I used to have some clients that were in Geneva, Switzerland, and my wife has one now that's still in Geneva. And whenever we do the time change, because in the spring we do like 3-4 weeks earlier than the rest of the world, it really throws everything off. Like, and when we fall back in the fall, it's like a week off. That's no big deal. But doing a time difference, in that case, like a 9-hour time difference, sometimes it's a little hard to keep things straight. But we manage, we figure it out. So, you know, I just wish we'd leave it sprung forward the whole time and never go back. But I mean, I said it because I like more sun, obviously. So if we kept it sprung forward, we would have sun later in the day as opposed to early in the morning, which, you know, it's easy for me to say. I'm not a farmer. I know I don't have to go out there and start working that early in the morning, so I don't have, I don't need the sun at that point. But I'm assuming, for the most part, with enough artificial light, people can kind of see in the dark now. So I could be wrong. It's not my world. I don't really know. So, you know. All right, let's do this. Round number 3. Whew. And, you know, if I don't make it, I don't make it. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna die, but you know. If I'm doing this and I feel like I gotta set it down, take a break, walk away, I'll walk away. Alright, the other thing is, take more time between sides. But I'm okay for now. Now, I know, for the most part, this kind of workout is not sexy, right? And personally, I'm okay with that. The bigger thing that matters, and you're having more and more doctors finally come to more of this conclusion, is stop focusing on losing weight, start focusing on gaining strength. Now, again, I am not someone in a larger body. If you want to lose weight, by all means, go for it. I don't, that's not my life. So if you're uncomfortable with that, that's fine. However, what they're really finding, the more you focus on strength, the more everything else is just gonna fall into place. And on top of that, weight loss is fucking hard. It's not just about dedication. It's not just about willpower, which for the most part, as the learning, doesn't really exist when it comes to the world of working out. It's getting consistent, it's finding a routine, it's finding an exercise routine that makes you happy, finding doing something that you enjoy doing. So, with that being said, I enjoy getting stronger. My goal is to pick up that 40 kilogram kettlebell with one arm for at least 2 reps, right? This is the path that we take to get there. Now, there's other things, there's other ways you can go about it, other overhead press stuff you can do, you know, other exercises. I mean, obviously I'm going to be doing bicep curls during the week as well. Just a whole bunch, because you can't just do one modality and not have injuries someplace else because you're going to get overused, right? But this isn't flashy. This isn't necessarily something that people are going to see like, that's what I want to do. And that's okay. It's effective. It's efficient, but it's not going to get me on the cover of any magazines. And that's fine, because it will get me to that. And that's all I care about. I'll continue in a second. You know, I have some family members who have been dealing with some health issues for a few years. And what we don't think about in our 30s, 40s, certainly not in the 20s, maybe a little bit more in our 50s, I don't know, I'll let you when I get there. What we don't think about living independently in the ways that we should. We don't think about that it's not necessarily that someone's afraid that you're going to leave the oven on, is that they're afraid that you're not going to be able to pick yourself up off the floor when you fall. And I think that's the thing that none of us think about, or none of us realize. I had a friend years ago, motorcycle rider, loves them. I was talking to him about getting my motorcycle license. And he's like, you know, there's 2 things you gotta think about when it comes to riding a motorcycle. Number 1, first and foremost, you have to drive like you're invisible, because no one can see you. So it is your job as a cyclist, as a bike rider, to be as visible as possible. Flashing lights, loud bikes. It's one of the reasons why a lot of people have loud motorcycles, make sure people hear them coming. They may sound like an asshole, but you didn't hit them. And he said, that's number 1. So number 2 is understanding it's not a question of if you fall, it's a matter of when you fall. And I think that is something that we really have to start understanding and thinking about as we age. It's not going to be a matter of if you fall in your apartment or your house as you get older. It's what happens when you do fall. Do you know how to roll with that fall? Do you know how to pick yourself up off of the floor from that fall? And if you can't do that, your independence will be gone. So as we age and as we get older, I mean, listen, I can sit in my chair. If I didn't have kids and I had the chance, I could sit in the chair and play video games all fucking day. I would love to do that. But I would still have to do this work because I want to be able to live independently for as long as I'm able to. I don't fool myself into thinking that I'm not going to have to live in an assisted living facility if I hit 85 years old, 90 years old. But I'm not going to walk in there willingly because I didn't know how to take care of myself physically on my own. At least that is my long-term goal anyway. So all that to delay doing this number 5 here on each side. But I think that's something that people really have to think about and understand. It's not a matter of your body's not going to give up on you. You're not taking care of your body. So you got to make sure that this shit is going to last you another 50, 60, 70 years, how old you are. That's why we do this. So this isn't sexy, but making sure that even at 90 I can reach into that cupboard. I hope I'm a hot 90-year-old. Part of the reason why I'm switching my focus to focus on people with osteoporosis, osteopenia, because they're going to fall too. So I can either help them fall correctly, help them recover quicker from those falls, or they're not going to be able to live on their own. And I think that's the biggest fear. It's one of the reasons why at least people in this country at a certain age have such a hard time giving up their license. It's that sense of independence. And you don't want someone to take that away from you because you haven't been able to do the work on your own. So that's my hot and rich. Yes, hot and rich is exactly what I want. Listen, hot and rich at 90, I'll take it. All right, final load right on. But, you know, I grew up watching my grandparents. You know, this is back in the 80s, suffering from diabetes and continuously pricking their fingers to test their blood, shooting insulin, and trying to regulate their blood sugar. And, you know, I'm not saying I'm going to be able to prevent that. If that's something that I have a family history of, hopefully I can prevent that from happening for a long time from now. But that depends on diet, that depends on exercise. So I think what we all have to do is figure out what's already being bet against us. What are some of those physical limitations that we're going to have to focus on in the future? What are some of those genetics that we have to kind of work against? You know, in my case, maybe not have so much sugar, right? Which is hard because it's really delicious. I like ice cream. I like cookies. I'm not saying I'm ever going to completely give those up, but I certainly can't have it every day. No one should, obviously, but we don't talk about life after 50 because most people don't want to admit that life happens after 50. I think most people we have this weird obsession with being young forever. Because if I stay young forever, I'm not gonna die. Well, yeah, you are, because you're not really staying young forever. You're just trying to look like you're younger than you are. But we are gonna die. I'm not doing this to prevent dying. I'm just doing this to prevent dying earlier than I need to. So, yeah, all right, that's my soapbox for this Monday night. Enjoy your St. Patrick's Day beverages as well, because I will be doing so when I get home. So, live your life, but just physically prepare to do it for a long time. All right, here we go. That's a little jerky in the shoulders there. Not having that clean. That's a dirty clean, if you will. Man. But you know what? I'm not getting off the soapbox yet, because there's more to it. I've said this before. I've had guys come to me who said they want to work on mobility. And after a year, they finally get to know me, they trust me enough. And they apologize and they say, yeah, prepare physically, mentally is absolutely right. I have these guys come and after they work with me for a while, like, I said I wanted to work on mobility and we have. But the reality of the situation is, I didn't care that I couldn't touch my toes. I cared that I was cramping up when I was cleaning myself on the toilet. And one guy cramped up, he couldn't move for 20 minutes. This guy's in his 70s. It's not it's not a matter of if, but when. So if you can prevent that by working on mobility, I mean, I would hate to be in my 70s and have to call someone to come in and help me finish wiping my own ass. Doesn't sound like fun to me. I'm gonna avoid that if I can. And I just highly recommend you guys do too. All right, here we go. Now it's done for real. Well, I thought I was gonna be ready to lift, but I'm not. Man. All right. Now I think I'm ready. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Whew. One more, number 3 here. And then we're gonna roll out our lats. 1, 2, 3. Oh, man. That was good. That was nice. Hopefully I feel that way about this tomorrow, but we'll find out. But now I'm going to grab a foam roller. If you have a foam roller, you can grab one. I'll show you exactly how we're going to roll this out to help with tomorrow. Now, the thing with this is, it is really, really easy to overdo it on foam rolling. So we're going to take this fairly easy. If you are following along here, just kind of make sure that, like, let's just kind of turn this away. There we go. Give it a little more space over here. This is, you want to, you're not trying to go at this like a deep tissue massage, all right? You're trying this to help blood flow, a little cross-fiber myofascial release in a way. That's how I would look at it if I were warming up with this. Just to kind of help work out some of that lactic acid. Now, and what was that, computer? Turn off notifications from Facebook. No, fuck off. I don't even know what they were on. Anyway, let's see here. So don't go at this like a deep tissue massage. You will be extra sore. I'm kind of turning a bit off to an angle here. So with this one, I'm going to be rolling not just the calf itself, but I'm going between the top of the Achilles and right below the calf. Now you can cross one leg over. I'm just kind of rocking back and forth here. And then I'm going to shimmy side to side when I find a bit of a tender spot, and then circle. 2, oh hello, 3, I don't know if you heard that crack, 4, and reverse. 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to switch to the other side, because these aren't the big ones I'm worried about. 3, 4, shimmy back and forth here. Ooh, oh, hello. Circle 1, 2, 3, 4, and then reverse that. 3, ooh, 4. Okay, now I'm gonna hit the calf. And if I were really, like if I were having calf issues, I would use like a massage ball to get in there a little bit more gently and really pinpoint, but this is more just because I was using them this whole time. I was gripping the floor with my feet, which is kind of why this toe wants to cramp up right now. I'm not sure why. Alright, here we go. Oh, yeah, there's the release of the toe. Woo! That's a tight calf. Okay. So when I go home, I'll be doing more, I'm like sat in the most echoey spot. Hello? Yeah, that's still there. Alright. Anyway. I would probably do some of this rolling on my own at home, go a little bit deeper because right there on the, if you wanted to get technical about it, the posterior gastrocnemius, posterior median gastrocnemius, no. Alright, well clearly I'm not going to break that down, but is the gastrocnemius on the outside. Okay, so with lats, bro, do these all day. But we're going to think of this in 2 sections, right? You guys probably hear me talk about this shit all the time because it is, I don't want to say it's one of my favorite muscles. I mean, that sounds like a weird thing to say. But this is one muscle that tends to cause people quite a bit of issues. And sometimes I'll have clients come in and they're complaining of lower back pain. And we'll roll their lats out a little bit to help release that, and then everyone sits there and says, well, why am I going to roll out my lats here to help my back here? Well, because this is the side, this is your lat, and the orange all there. Now everything in that white that you see back in there, there's a yellow down here at the bottom, that's all connective tissue, right? So with connective tissue, that doesn't really stretch. So, oh, sorry, I'm over here. Hold on, watch this. Did it? No, come on. It'll come back in a second, I promise. See, I was trying to get too close and help out and show you and teach you things. Camera lost focus, I know. Hey, now it's in focus. Stay with me. There, now we're back. All right. So, all that said, right, we're going to break this lat down into 2 sections. So, section 1, let's say so here's my bottom rib, right? So, I'm going to go up probably 3 ribs, if you will. I'm going to roll that. That's section 1. And then from section 1 right to the base of my armpit is going to be section 2. So I can do these, just lay on my side and just going back and forth. 2, 3, 4, find that tender spot, shimmy back and forth. Woo! 4, now I take this arm, bring it down, and then up. 2, 3, 4. Now here, keep this in mind. You see how my hand is on here? As I'm putting this elbow on the ground and this hand is here on the foam roller, I'm pushing off with both So I'm not putting all my weight on this thing. And even when I shimmy back and forth and I swing this arm out, I'm putting more weight in this hand, so I'm not just putting all my weight on this roller, because then not only can I bruise the muscle, I can bruise the fascia, and that sucks. 2, now I'm doing section 2, 3, 4, find a different tender spot, shimmy back and forth, bend the arm down, 2, 3, and there's some cracking in my shoulder going on, and section 2 again, 2, 3, 4, and shimmy back and forth, 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's do the other side. Whew. Alright, so if you were able to join me on Friday and saw the teacher trainers I was working out with, we had a really fun workout there. And it's one of the things I'm trying to do is get more people to join me in person, not just for Twitch streams, but in general, because it can be a lot of fun working with other instructors. 3, 4, and section 2. Woo. 2, there's a crack. 3, 4, shimmy back and forth here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, that's section 2. That felt really good. Now, just for fun, I'm going to roll my back, see if I can get any cracks out of there. And, oh, that was a good one. And with that, I'm going home. I'm going to go eat. All right. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I had a great time. I hope you were able to join me with the workout. If not, maybe next time. If you guys have any questions about anything we did, let me know. And I will see you on Wednesday night. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. I love you all, and I will see you soon. Good night.